Hello and welcome everyone. I'm Sunil, a senior under-Indian artist, educator, and founder of 3D Architects Academy. I'm passionate about helping 3D artists, architects, and interior designers master real-time design and visualization using Unreal Engine. In this tutorial, I will show you all how to prepare a scene in 3ds Max for exporting it to Unreal Engine. I will be making this tutorial as comprehensive as possible so that its usability will be in every scenario. Like you are going to prepare the scene for a baked lighting scene or maybe lumen or path tracing. So it will be using the latest technology and it will be focusing on leveraging the latest technology available in Unreal Engine 5 for as of now. So as you can see, I have a Max opened here. So I'll go here and open the file which I want to prepare for exporting to Unreal Engine. So this is the Max file of the scene which we are going to prepare for exporting. To keep this file intact, I will copy and paste it and rename it so that this original file will remain as it is, and we will have another file which we will be going ahead and preparing it for export. You can name it whatever you like UV. And then I will go ahead and open the file. So now, as you can see, we have a pop-up here. This says the unit in Max and the file is mismatched. So if you are going to export the objects through FBX, then you will have to be a little bit more concerned about fixing the scale of the scene and matching it with the Max unit scale. So file unit scale is in millimeter and it has to be converted to centimeters. So you can go ahead and use this rescale, but using it and exporting the file is in as a BX. This is what not I like too much. I like exporting the file through DataSmith. And if you have to use DataSmith for exporting the scene from Max, then you don't need to be worried about at this stage. You can just click on adopt the file unit scale. And when you have prepared the scene and when you are exporting it through DataSmith, DataSmith will automatically rescale the file. Whatever unit your Max scene is with, it will be converted to centimeter by the DataSmith exporter. So you don't need to worry about anything in terms of unit scale mismatch if you are going to use DataSmith for exporting the scene. But if you are going to use FBX, then you will have to be a little bit concerned. And I don't like exporting through FBX. There are certain reasons of an advantage of using FBX. There are some certain disadvantages. This is what my workflow is usually. So this is the process I am explaining which I actually use. And in that process, I use DataSmith instead of FBX. So I'll go ahead and click OK. So as you can see, the file is open now with save frame. So to remove this save frame, I will press Shift F and then I will press P for going to perspective view. So as you can see, we have a white background, which I don't like while I'm working in Max. So I will go ahead and remove that white background by going to views, viewport background, and I will change it to gradient color. So that white background is gone. So now I will continue with unhiding and unfreezing everything in the scene. Why? Because I want to see everything in the scene first and then decide whatever I want to export and whatever I don't want to export. Like we'll not be exporting the camera, light and shapes, all those things. But we still want to be sure of how many objects are there in total. So I will go ahead and right click and click unhide on and then right click again and unfreeze on. So if there is something that is hidden in the scene, it will be unhidden and unfreeze so that I can select them and do whatever changes or modification I want. Whenever I prepare a scene in Max, I generally want to see the number of triangle in the scene. For that, I will go here and then click on this configure viewport. And then we'll go to statistics. I will switch all of this and I will switch on triangle count and then I will show a static in active view. Plus I will also select total plus selection, click apply and OK. So as I can see, we have something around 6 million triangle in the scene. So with the help of this statistics enabled, I am now aware about how many triangles are there. so that I can decide and do things accordingly based on my information about triangles in the scene. So next, we'll go to display panel and make sure all these options are disabled. That means nothing is checked like this. It has to be disabled. All of this needs to be unchecked and nothing is checked like this. So be sure. So this is also like hiding certain things by category. So if something is like when we right click and then click unhide all, if something is like cameras, we have hidden. But even if I right click and unhide all, those cameras will not be visible. So we have to be sure that these are all unchecked. That means everything in the scene is visible now. One more thing is there. You can go in layer and make sure nothing is visible, like hidden here. So right click, unhide all, right click, unfreeze all. Then I went to display panel, made sure everything is unchecked. And then in the layer panel, I cross-check everything is visible. So that way I'm pretty much sure that everything in the scene is visible with the statistics on my screen and every object are present in the scene. And now I can decide what I have to do. So it's very important for me that everything is visible, nothing is hidden while I'm starting preparation of the scene. So now what I will do is I'll go ahead and press Ctrl A, and then I will go to groups and then I will click open recursively. I'll go ahead and press Ctrl A again, and then I will go to here, and then I will see if open recursively is grayed out. That means there is no group in the scene that is closed. All the groups are opened. So we have to take care about the total number of objects in the scene so that it helps in optimization later down, and also we can migrate object from one scene to another and reuse them multiple projects. That there also it will be helping, and for optimization also it's going to help. One more point is we are not going to export everything in the scene. Like we are not going to export cameras. We're not going to export lights. We're not going to export helpers. Many of the other people export helpers, but I think it's only because of their lack of knowledge or sometimes being lazy. But I will show the complete process and you can go ahead and use it if you want. So as I can say, we also have lots of other things. So I will go ahead here and then click on helpers. And then I will press Ctrl A. And as you can see, there are 1126 helpers. That means the entity, when closed, creates a group. So these are helpers which we have to take care of. So I'll go ahead and create a layer and name it as helpers. And then I will go ahead and hide those layers. Then I will go ahead and change to cameras, press Ctrl A, and then I will again create a layer named as 00 cameras. Then again I will hide them. Then I will change this to lights, press Ctrl A, create a layer 00 lights, and then shapes, Ctrl A. Then I will go ahead and select the geometry, Ctrl A, and then I will add them to the geometry layer. So now after adding those, we have some empty layers in our scene, and I will go ahead and delete those empty layers. So I'll select all the empty layers, right click, delete. And again, I will select all the remaining empty layers and delete. Now you can see here, above this 0 default, we have some layers named as 00 cameras, helpers. Let me correct the spelling here. So helpers and then lights and shapes. And we have a layer named geometries below this default. Why? Because we will keep everything that we are not going to export on the layers and it will be above this default. So there will be a distinction between what we are going to export and what we are not going to export. So this way, this default will be any layer and object present on them below this 0 default We have named it accordingly so that we are sure that we have to export these objects on these layers. And any object on layers above this, it becomes very clear out of the box that we are not going to export those layers or objects on those layers. So to keep this visually very clear, I name the layers like this. And now what I will do is, after this is done, I will go to all in the selection filter, and then I will press Control A and then go here and click close. Go again here and click close and cross check here again if I need to close again and then again. So now you can see it's grayed out. That means all the groups in the scene has been closed. Earlier we opened the group and then we selected all the objects inside the group and then we arranged them into several or different layers. And now we have closed them because we want to see, after being all the group closed, how many objects are there in the scene to be precise. So if I go ahead and press Control A and all the groups are closed, it's only 146 entity in the scene. So this makes sense for a project like this much big. If we export all the objects, or if we export the entire scene and it will be only 146 objects, it's good. It's not bad. But the thing is, the objects are inside groups. That means groups will be exported as nodes, and every object inside the groups will be separate, independent, static meshes, which will be increasing the number of objects in the scene, which is not good for optimization and handling the project and working efficiently. So if you just go ahead and export this project as it is, then we'll have number of objects in the scene. So it will not be only 146. To be precise, if you want to see, I will go ahead and then I will click Open Recursively. And then I will go here and click on Geometry. And then I will press Control A. So total number of object, static meshes that will be exported will be 536. We can work with it and we can go ahead, but it's not ideal situation. All we are learning here in this tutorial is the best and efficient way of preparing scene. Otherwise, you can just go ahead and click open a scene and then select all, and then you can export to Unreal Engine and then you can work, no problem. But the thing is, you will have lots of problem later down while you are working on Unreal Engine. You will have lots of objects which need to be organized. So there will be all those problems. If you just open a scene and then export and then bring it in Unreal Engine, it can be done, but it's going to be very hectic later down. But before that, if you spend half an hour or 15 minutes preparing the scene or anything which you are going to export to Unreal Engine, and then later on, it's going to be so smooth experience for you to work and handle the objects in the scene, because you have spent those extra time in preparing the scene in Max and doing it thoughtfully. So if I go ahead and export this at this moment, even if I go ahead and close all these groups like this, it's not 146 objects that is going to be exported. It's going to be 536 static meshes, and lots of extra nodes will be there getting exported along with this file. So now we have to think about and prepare the scene so that when scene is exported to Unreal Engine, we have the bare number of objects in the scene so that we can work very efficiently, optimize very well later on, and we can use the models again and again in multiple projects, and it should be very easy for us. So what I will do is, let's understand why the next process is important. So I will select this roof and I will press H. I have given custom shortcut keys in Max, which I will be providing in the description of this video if possible. And then let's see what's happening in the scene as of now. So I will go ahead and Alt Q to isolate objects. And this is a group which consists certain number of objects in the scene. in the group. So if we go ahead and just export this, it's not going to be exported one object because this group will be exploded in Unreal Engine while it's imported. So this will not be a one object. And then you will be, and suppose you have done the lighting and then you have optimized this object in Unreal Engine, reduce the triangle, maybe created nanite, switched on nanite and all those sorts of things, material one, like you spend certain amount of time and effort doing the material and optimizing the scene further in Unreal Engine, reducing the number of triangle and maybe switching on nanite. And then you realized, okay, you want to use this book, just this book, you want to use it in another part of the scene, or maybe in the next or some other scene which you want to export, migrate and then use it. It's going to be a little bit troublesome for you because everything is in one group, and if you open it, there might not be one single object. So what here we have to do is we have to prepare this object in as merged elements. That means for chair, it will be only one element consisting the chair in its entirety. Then one for the mobile, one for the book, and one for the towel that is lying on the or hanging on the chair. As of now, if we export, it's going to be chaotic. But that is the thing. We have to prepare the scene so that everything works flawlessly and everything works accordingly. So in that respect, I will go here and group, and then I will explode this group for now. So in this instance, I'm going to explode. Later on different objects, we have to do different activities to prepare them accordingly. So I will select all the parts of the chair, or hide, and then see if the chair is properly selected. So when I hide it, I can be very sure that this chair is prepared, that this chair is selected. And now I will go ahead and with the help of this Rapa tool, I will go ahead and then click one object. So if you don't have Rapa tool, you can do it in Edit Poly, just merge everything. That is going to take lots of time. So I will highly recommend having Rapa tool or any script, something like Rapa tool, which can just merge the selected objects into one object. So now this chair is a one object. I will hide this. Then I will select this. If I see there are two elements making the book. So I'll go ahead, select both of them, and then I will merge them into one object. Then this towel is just one. Oh, it's two objects. So I'll select these two objects, and then I will click one object, hide, and this is made of three objects. This is something pouch or wallet like. So I'll go ahead and click one object. So now if I go ahead and cross-check this, as of now, I can select this, hide. So if I export this object now, it will be 4 objects exported. But if I would have and all these objects can be reused, can be optimized, can be made, can be corrected in the material, and then kept as a library object in your library project if you are making. So it's going to be very easy for you to optimize them, do the material, and reuse them on multiple projects, and things will be very logical if we export it like this. But if we would have selected all this and just exported, that would be the worst thing we could have done if we were trying to work in Unreal Engine. That's not the way. So this is the way. So now, even if we have 4 objects, everything is logical. There is a chair, there is a book, there is a pouch, and there is a towel hanging on the chair. Also, we can go ahead and select all of them. And then I will go ahead and click on press Control, and using the Rapa tool, I will click on center pivot. So what it does is adjust the pivot of every object to center of X and Y and at the bottom of G, which is the perfect ideal location of the pivot of any object in Unreal Engine. So it can be done in just one click if we are using Rapa tool. If you don't have Rapa tool, then you will have to do it manually. I will highly suggest do it in Max rather than trying to do it in Unreal Engine. Changing the pivot to the center of X and Y and bottom of Z. With the help of alpha tool, you can select multiple objects and just one click, press Control, and then click on the center pivot, and all the objects will be on all objects pivot will be corrected in just one go. So after that's done, we will go ahead and hide this object. I'll click on this button to unisolate or switch off the isolation. And as you can see, why it's important to reduce or remove all the groups. And while we are removing all the groups of the scene, we will be merging objects into single objects depending on the category of object they are. Suppose, for example, there is a group with 6 elements that compromises and makes a chair. We'll merge all those objects inside that group to one element that is, or one object that is one chair with all those objects or elements combined in one. So when we export it to Unreal Engine, the chair comes as a separate entity or a single object or single mesh as chair, which we can optimize and reuse in multiple projects very easily and efficiently. To get that done, we have to destroy all the groups of the scene. So how we can do that? Let's go ahead and understand that. So until now, we have been working in the layer panel here. So now to destroy all the groups, we'll go ahead and use the scene hierarchy mode. So I will go ahead and click on scene hierarchy mode. I will press Ctrl H, unhide all. And then I will click on display none in the scene hierarchy and click on display none. Then I will click on show only groups and show only groups even if they are hidden. So now all the groups in the scene will be visible regardless of they are visible or not, or hidden or unhidden. So now let's start with the first group. So I'll go ahead and select the first group, and then I will click Alt Q and then press Z. So this will isolate that object from all the other objects in the scene, and then Z will zoom on that object so that we can be specifically working on that particular object. So here, this group consists of door. And if I go ahead and, for example, I go ahead and click open recursively, and then I will select these objects, then there are total number of objects in the scene, or total number of objects present inside this group are 41 objects. So if I go ahead and click close, and then I export it, it will not be one object. It will be 41 object exported to Unreal Engine, and 41 static mesh will be there, which is very bad for performance. And it is going to be very difficult for you to handle the object if you need to reuse multiple times, or maybe if you want to do. And yes, you can go ahead and merge them in Unreal Engine, but that's not the efficient way. If we can do those mergings to reduce the number of objects in the Max itself while we are preparing the scene, that will be the perfect and it will be more efficient way. So let's see how to deal about this group and merge them into single two entities. One will be the door that will open, and the another will be the frame that is going to be static. So out of those 41 objects, we have to have two elements that can be opened, and the door panel which will be open, and the frame which stays static. So now I will go ahead and change this to all for now, and I will go ahead and click explode. So I have put Control E as a shortcut. So I can also go ahead and press Control E to explode this group, or I can go ahead and click here and explode. So that group is now gone. So it is just 41 objects for this door. And now let's see how to deal about this. So I'll go ahead and click here on this window crossing, and then I will select, go to wireframe, and I will select all this, and then all this. And then I will go ahead and switch this off, and I will select the frame. Then again, I will go to wireframe mode, and if I hide, it's only the door panel remaining here. So what I will do, I will go ahead and then merge this as one object. So now it's one, I will hide, and then I will select all these, and these are 13 objects. I will go ahead and merge them as one object. And now this door, the door, that group within which the door was, is just two objects now. And when we export, we can go ahead and handle them very separately and efficiently. So I will be going ahead and correcting the pivot of all the objects accordingly, making them center on, like, send X and Y in center and Z at the bottom and the end, because we want to focus on removing the group or destroying the group and reducing the number of objects in the center. Before, if we would have exported it, there would have been 41 objects. But now if we export the door, it will be only two elements, the frame and the door panel, which will be perfect for our Unreal Sim. So I will go ahead and hide this again. And then I will go ahead and select this. This door is, we are going to do the same. So I will press Ctrl E, and then I will go to wireframe. Then I will select this one, select this, and this. Plus I will select the frame. I will go ahead and click one object. I will hide it. And then I will select all this and click one object. Then again, hide it. So I will go ahead and select this, Alt Q and Z. So if you press Alt Q and then Z and you see nothing, that means that's an empty node. So you can just go ahead and click Ctrl E, or you can just go ahead and delete if you don't see anything inside that. So that doesn't consist anything, let's delete it. Alt Q, Z, and again we have a door. So this is a sliding door. If I can go ahead and like I will switch off the isolation mode and hide this. So it's a panel. So it's a door of a wardrobe. So I can go ahead and keep it as one object. So Alt Q, Z again, and then I can merge it into one object. So again, if I go ahead and click open recursively and see how many objects are there inside it, it is two objects. So I'll go ahead and click close, and then I will go ahead and use this script here to group to mesh. So you can use Rapa tool and group to mesh. Combination of these two scripts while you are removing or destroying the groups and reducing the number of the object in the scene simultaneously. So I'll go ahead and click on group to mesh, and now this group will be condensed into one static mesh. I will hide this. Then again, I will go to the next group, Alt Q, Z. Again, I'm going to do the same here, hide, then Alt Q, Z, and this is group. So I will go ahead and click group to mesh, hide, again Alt Q, Z, and then group to mesh. So I will speed run this, and so that to get it completed fast. If I find something crucial which needs to be explained other than what I have already explained in destroying the groups, I will stop, and then I will explain it if needed. Otherwise, I will just go ahead and continue doing so. One more thing is, if you want, you can go ahead and rename the merged objects so that it is going to be very easier for you to find them or find any specific object in Unreal with the help of their name. So I will highly advise, while you are merging objects, rename them properly. But for now, since this is tutorial, so I will not be renaming them. But when you are doing actually, and you actually want to prepare the scene the perfect way, so it is highly recommended you name all the objects according to their properties or according to their category, which will be fantastic for you later on in Unreal Engine if you want to find them with their name. So now you can see here, this is a complex scenario where we have multiple objects in the same group. So we'll not go ahead and merge them all at once. You can do it, but I will not suggest. But if you go ahead and explode it now, you can, and if you select it again, you will see it's three objects. So let's see, it's a carpet. So since I have exploded it and this object is one object in its own, I can just hide it. No need to merge. These whole pillows are in one object. So let's go ahead and keep them as one object. And this bed is one object. So I can just go ahead and keep it one. And these pillows are again one object. So I can keep it one. So I just exploded the group and keep the object individually separate. If you have kept the group, then you can go ahead and bring that as in Unreal Engine as it is. but it's choice. I always like to destroy all the groups. I don't need lots of extra nodes in Unreal Engine. It's very much daunting in the outliner. So outliner will be very clean and only objects that are actually present, and it's very efficient if we keep our outliner clean. So this is a good way of keeping our outliner clean in Unreal Engine. So I'll go ahead and then group to mesh. So now you can see the object was selected and I clicked on group to mesh, and then it got deselected. And that first layer of the group got destroyed, but there was group inside group. So it got deselected. So now I can go ahead and then select it again and then click group to mesh. Again, one more thing you can keep in mind that whenever it's a group object, when you have selected object and it's a group object, then the text will be bold here. So if I go ahead and click group to mesh again, and now the text is not bold anymore. That means the group is destroyed and it's just a single as geometry or a static mesh, which we call in Unreal Engine. So that is the symbol, like how you can understand if it's merged and it's the group has been destroyed or not. Here also I will press Ctrl key, explode. Then I will select these two books. And then I will merge them into one object. It's already one object, so perfect. This is also one object and perfect. We keep it as it is. So as you can see, we are slowly going ahead and destroying all the groups and also reducing the number of objects. Again, if I go ahead and press Ctrl E to explode, and then if I select all these objects which were inside this group, there will be 13 objects being exported along with that group node. Now we need to be very specific that every object that with the multiple elements should be condensed and merged into one object. Like this glass is just one object. I'll keep it as it is. This whole thing I would like to keep is one object for now. Maybe we can go ahead and for interactive stuff, so we can keep this spoon separate and this cup separate and plate separate so that we can pick them individually if you want. But that we can go ahead and do it in Unreal Engine if it's actually needed. For now, preparing the scene in Max for Unreal Engine. At this point, I'll go ahead and merge them as one. But later on, depending on the use case for the interactivity, you can go ahead and detach this spoon and the plates and the cup later on if needed. But for the first instance, I'll keep them as one object because most of the time they will be always as used as one element. So all these three will be always be together and used together and put together. So I will keep them all as one object instead of three. These two pen and this diary will almost be the scenario. They are always a diary with the pen and pencil. So I'll keep this as one object. And this laptop will always be as one object. So instead of keeping two, I will merge them as one object. And I will go ahead and reduce all this. So now this can be the bunch of books with a pot here. So I will go ahead and press Ctrl E to explode. Then I will select this. It's just one object. I will hide it and I will select all these books and merge them as one object. So here I'm exploding it, and then this is one object, and this is three objects, so I will merge them as one object. So here I have these two elements. I'll press Ctrl E to explode. Then I will go here and see what it is. And then I will go ahead and hide this and select this. And this is 13 object. So I will go ahead and click one object. I'm just selecting the one group, pressing Alt Q and then Z to zoom on it. So here I will go ahead and press Ctrl E to explode, and I will select this. It's one object, so I will hide it And then I will select this. And now these are all one separate objects. So I'll select this, hide, select this, hide, select this, hide. So now, since I selected it and hide it, I was able to see it's two objects. So I'll go ahead and merge them into one. Maybe it's three objects. Again, I will go ahead and make it one object. Again, here also, it's only one. So I will select it. This is one. This is one object. This is also one. One. These two are one. Good, not a problem. This is two objects, so I will make it one. This is also two objects, I will make it one. This is also two, I'll make it one. So now I select this group and press Alt Q and then Z, and I cannot see anything. So I'll just go ahead and press Ctrl E to explode that group. And now when I selected this group and press Alt Q and Z, I see this. So all this cannot be one object. So I'll go ahead and press Ctrl E to explode. This will be one object. So I'll go ahead and make it one. This will be one object, and I can say it's only one, so I'll hide it. This will be one object, hide and see, and then press Z. And then I will make this 5 object as one object. And then hide. And then I will select all these 2 objects and make it one. Hide. And I will select this. Make it one object. Hide. And then these 2 objects, I will be making it one object. Now, so this is, as you can see, it's flipped wrong. So I can go ahead and mirror this up on Y, and it's corrected. But before that, I will go ahead and press Control and center pivot. And then I will go ahead and make it like this. And so now, as you can see, all the groups in the scene is destroyed or taken care of. Now, if I go ahead and click on this isolate, switch off the isolate selection, right click and hide all. And if I go ahead and now and then press Ctrl A, so it's 248 objects as a static mesh. If I go ahead and then go to group, there is no group in the scene, and we only have a static meshes that are 228 objects. Now I will go back to our layer panel, and then we can go here and see. And when I go back to the layer panel, I will go ahead and click on this display all, so I can see everything here now. So I can go ahead and just put them on a layer named as backup and hide them for now. I will also keep this object on the backup level. And then I will create a new layer for this as background, BG. And I'm not putting 00 because I need to export this background layer. So it's like that, Control H. So Control A now. And we have 244 objects to be precise, which will be exported. So after we are done with destroying the groups, next thing we are going to do is we have to make sure the wall, the floor, and the roof are having bare minimum of 10 to 20 centimeter in thickness. I'll select this roof, hide it, and just cross check if the wall is having thickness or not. Press Ctrl Z, wall is having proper thickness, roof is also having proper thickness, and the floor is also having the proper thickness. So if there was no thickness in the floor, we would have given the thickness using shell modifier in Max or whatever software you are using. You should be aware about how to add thickness. And you have to add the thickness on the wall, floor, and roof. It's very important and compulsory. So now, when that's done, we continue to the next step, and that is making sure that every object in the scene that is present in the scene more than once is an actual instance of each other. For an example, we'll go ahead and cross-check the scene and see if something is in the scene more than once, and then we'll make sure it should be an instance of each other. So as I can see, this is one object and this is another object, but this object is present twice in the scene. So now what I will do is I will go ahead and then Alt Q to isolate. I will select this and make a selection set that is 1 so that I can delete it later. And then I will press Control and then click on Center Pivot so that its pivot is at the center of X and Y and bottom of Z. Now I will go ahead and then duplicate this. You can go ahead and closely match it or snap it also if you want. There are several ways. So I can just right click here and then I will go ahead and make it as vertex. And then I'll change this to 3D snapping. And then I can go ahead and click on the Y axis and then I select a vertex and then I can snap it up. And then I can go ahead and then hide it. So I will hide this, and I will go ahead and delete this object now. So as you can see, I made those two objects as instance, and then I will go ahead and cross check for the entire scene if there are something where present in the scene twice. So I will like hide this object and hide this, and I will see that these shoes are present twice. So what I will be doing is I will go ahead and click on the center pivot and then I will use this clone button. Then I will click on instance and then I will move it a little bit. Click OK and then I can just switch off the snap tool and then I can move it manually. Hide this, and I will delete this out. These two are merged, so it's okay, not a big problem. If you want, you can go ahead and then also duplicate them or keep them as one. So I'll go ahead and hide this. Same here, I will be doing, if I select both, they are not instance of each other. So again, center pivot, and then go ahead and then instance them like this. Maybe rotate a little bit. Hide, delete this and hide this. And I'll go ahead and do this for all the objects. So as I can see, these two objects are combined with each other. So I will go ahead and detach them. So in this step, we have to be very sure that every object in the scene, if they are used twice or more than once or present more than once, then they are instance and not as a separate object. So rest assured everything is okay. I can go ahead and make them instance or keep them as it is. The basic fundamental is we have to keep the number of objects as less as possible in the scene, plus every object that are being used more than once should be instance of each other. Plus one more thing is we can go ahead and merge object according to the category further on. For an example, I can go ahead and select this wooden panel, all these parts, and then I can go ahead and merge them because most of the time this whole section will be as one object and this makes sense to be kept as one. Instead of 5 objects, I will go ahead and merge them as one object. This one is 1, so I can just hide this and press Ctrl Z and then I can go ahead and merge them as one. So this is going to further reduce the number of objects. So I can select all these wooden parts, or you can do this also. Select one object and click and select similar. And then it will select all the object with the similar material. That is quite easier and faster. Now here we have to pay attention on one object, one thing, one point while we are preparing. So if we go ahead and merge this as object, then the bounding box of this whole object will be like this. So this will be the X and Y size, which is this one will be the rest of space or the bounding box. So it's better we keep it square. So in that scenario, I will merge this as one object. So that bounding box will be kind of perfectly aligned with this object. So if the bounding box is created by another region, it will be something like this, roughly the same size of the box or this object. And then I will go ahead and merge this as one. So then bounding box will be quite similar to the shape of the object. Then I will hide and see if something is present more than once. Here this panel is present twice. So what I will do is I will go ahead and then duplicate this panel again and make it as instance, hide it, and I will delete this. These two objects, I can keep them separate because they're far away from each other. So as I can see here, there are few buttons which are left. So I will go ahead and merge this as one object. Now this we can go ahead and instance them. So I will select all of them, make them center point, and then I will just go ahead and see if they are instance or not. So they are instance, 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 and instance. So as I can see this icon here, that means they are already instance of each other. So we don't need to merge them. So we don't need to make instance of them. So by this way, you just need to be sure that we have to take care of the object in the scene or instance if they are present more than once. Now we'll press Ctrl H and then we'll select and see how many objects are there. So now it's only 148. So if I go ahead and press Ctrl A, I am able to select all this because there are also some nodes here. So I will go ahead and make sure. I will go here and make sure that we are in geometry and then press Ctrl A and then it's 202 objects. So as you can see, we have went ahead and made sure every object that is present more than once in the scene are instance, like created as an instance of each other. After this is done, now next step is we go ahead and hide this roof for now and see if any object in the scene are with translucent material. So as you can see here, this object has a translucent material, but it's a very small or not very significant object. So I can keep it as it is. But if we take consideration of these windows, so there are glasses in the windows. So what I will do is I will select all the object with the glass material. This will be largely the Windows glass. And then I will go ahead and create a layer, name it as glasses or just glass. And then for now, I will hide them and see if any other object in the scene are glass. So I can see this is a glass. So I will move that object on that glass level, hide this, and check the scene further to see. Also, this screen is a translucent object. You can go ahead and detach it, but this object you might need to use it multiple times on several projects. So keep them this glass object or glass part of this object in the same only, because for the sake of reusing it in multiple projects. And anyway, if you are going away from it, it will be hidden, or the Lenite will help us in that optimization. But something like this. This is a glass. This is also a glass. We might go ahead and animate this in Unreal Engine to open. So I will keep it like this only. So if I go ahead and press Control A, and I'm able to see 194 objects. And if I go here and then select it like this, it's only 149. So that means there are also empty nodes present in the scene. So I'll go ahead and select it manually and press Control I to deselect. And as I can see, these are the nodes where it doesn't exist anything. I can go ahead and delete them. So after we have made sure every object in the scene are made instance, and all the glass part are, all the object with the glass material are kept on a separate layer named as glass layer. So next step will be, I will go ahead and press Control A, select all, or I can just do it manually one by one. Maybe I will go ahead and select all this, which is kind of a structure. And then I will make a new layer and name it as a structure. I will go ahead and further create separate layers according to the object type. So this will also be part of a structure. This will also be part of a structure. This entire will be part of a structure. This doors and door frame will be part of a structure. And this window will also be part of a structure. I'll hide the glass layer for now so that I can select objects easily. This will also, I will be keeping it as part of a structure. So as you can see, everything that was kind of a structure, I have made it and added it on the structure layer. And now what I will do is I will select everything here, or I will just select or I will just go ahead here on the geometry layer now, and then I will rename it as furnitures. You can go ahead and further divide, create several layers, like one for bed, one for, but that is going to be too much and not absolutely recommended. We just need to distinguish between the furniture, the structure, and the glass. So here we have glass, and then here we have a structure, and then we can just isolate them accordingly. So at the end here now, like unless now we have now few layers in our scene for BG, for furnitures, for glass, and for a structure, which will help us a lot in our engine for working efficiently and optimizing things. Again, I like to remind you all that you can go ahead and rename the objects. This is the perfect time you can go ahead and rename. So go ahead and rename this as cabinet, and then name it as TV, this one as walls, this one as floor. It will be very good for you if you can do that. But this is tutorial, so I will just tell you to do, and I will not do it myself, because here my main goal is to explain the process to you all in as efficient way as possible. So now after all this, we will select all, and then go ahead, press Control, and then click on Center Pivot for the final time. The pivots are basically at the center and bottom of XYZ. So XY, center, and bottom at Z axis. So now all done. So by all these steps, what we did is we reduced the number of objects in the same we destroyed all the groups which will be unnecessarily present in the Unreal Engine outliner. So with that, the outliner will be cleaned. It will be very easy for us to reuse any object. Suppose we want to use this chair. So now this chair is one object, and I believe you will be naming it properly. So you can go ahead and migrate this and use in multiple projects, and also keep it in your library project for multiple use and several projects. The number of objects are less. They are properly organized in layers. So all this will help while we will be working in Unreal Engine. So this is my complete workflow of preparing a scene in 3ds Max for Unreal Engine. And this preparation will help you do the project in baking, do the project in Lumen, and do the project in path testing in all scenarios. Later on, when I will be making tutorials on those techniques and all those process, you will see how this process will help us in everything in terms of organization, optimization, and reusing the objects multiple times in several projects. Press Control A, data smith, file export, export selected, desktop, then export, then bedroom, and then you can go ahead and rename this as, I generally like keeping the name as 01 under 01 dash export or exports, and then you can just click save and then it will be exported. So I really hope this entire workflow will help you all to prepare a scene in Max for Unreal Engine. Give it a try, and if you have any doubt about this workflow, so if you have any further doubts and you want to get clarification and then understand what is what, and if you have just any kind of doubt, go ahead and drop me a comment and I will try my best to answer the comment and then help you all out to understand if you haven't been able to understand any point in this entire workflow. So see you all in the next tutorial or in the next video. By then, bye.